we're off and running, Gerry McBride, so keep her up close to the old mush there. And don't worry about popping and all that. That fuzzy microphone will do it. But you know all about that, running fucking Vicar Street shows and everything this week. Tell us about that.
What do you want to know, Tom? What do you want to know?
Waterford Whispers, obviously.
Oh, yes. The Vicar Street show, we ran it there on Saturday night, and then we were up in Belfast on Sunday. You're asking the wrong man about the running of it, Tom. I put pen to paper in the middle of the summer.
And that was it?
And that was me.
You wrote it and went, thank you very much. You're all very welcome. Yeah.
I'd love to know what you think I know about running a show, Tom.
Right. Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough.
You think I was organising a stage manager for a show?
Yeah.
From my Rolodex of contacts, you're sorely mistaken. No, I wouldn't have any aptitude or skill for that kind of thing. But put pen to paper with the lads. We sat down in the middle of the summer, and the three of us sat down and wrote the show, and then spent the next couple of months editing it. And if another wee bit was needed, it was chipped in, or a tweak, or this or that, and got it into fair to middling shape.
Yeah.
And went out in Waterford for 2 nights last week for previews.
Well, it kind of has to really start in Waterford, doesn't it?
It'd have to, yeah. Hometown heroes, you know. And then Vicar Street went on Saturday night, and that was good crack. Yeah.
How was it received?
It was very good. Yeah, it was very good. It was a good show. I mean, going into it, like, you know me, like, we're very kind of like blind boy. You know that, you know, the reason he wears the plastic bag is because nobody really knows him on the street or anything like that. He can do whatever the hell he wants. So nobody really knows us on the street at all. You know, I've often said that I get recognised on the street more for, like, if I sold a wooden floor to some lad in Castleblaney 6 years ago, rather than anything I've ever put pen to paper for. So nobody really knows us in that kind of way. So I was kind of...
That's handy.
It is handy. Like, I was in Vicar Street before the show kicked off, and we were just in the crowd and getting pints and one thing and another, and just sort of listening out. And the one thing that people were saying was they didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
Because you have done live shows before, haven't you?
We did a couple of,
like comedy festivals and stuff like that.
Cat Picnic and Cat Laughs and things like that. So, you know, if you didn't know that, it was like if someone said, "Okay, it's the Irish Independent live."
Okay,
yeah,
like,
yeah. Okay, what the fuck even is that?
Yeah.
Or closer to home, Tom, Super Vet Live. I'd love to know what the fuck that was.
Was that the Three Arena?
The Three Arena.
Super Knoll.
Super Knoll, right?
Like, have you watched Super Vet?
No.
Have a look at Super Vet.
But it's just him putting down dogs, isn't it?
No. He is basically making $6 million men dogs.
All right, well, I can see where there's a live show in that, all right.
I'm interested to know what the fuck he's doing, because on the TV show, basically somebody comes in with a gammy cat because it's been hit by a tractor or something, and they're going, every other vet said to put it down. He was like, let me have a look at it. And all of a sudden, he takes out the Meccano set and builds a new set of fucking legs.
And just rigs a bionic dog.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'll tell you what was another thing sold out the Three Arena last year. Bear Grylls live.
Yeah.
What the fuck does Bear Grylls do on a stage?
I have no idea. You can't start a fire inside there.
You can't. Well, there's probably like health and safety laws.
Have you to follow him into the jacks as he just drinks out of the fucking
mug of piss? You know.
Yeah.
on stage, but like, you know, fair enough, Bear. But what do you do for the other hour and a half?
He's been making massive money for years, talking at giving talks, power talks, basically, at these things. So unless it was a power talk like Tony Robbins style shit, like...
Well, you know,
literally...
I remember that the Point Depot was where you went for a rock concert.
Oh, no, look at you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and now it's... no, you go to the Point to see fucking Jordan Peterson tell lads how to fucking score women or whatever the hell he does. I don't know who that man is at all, except anytime he shows up on Twitter, it's like a massive sort of, fuck this guy, I love this guy, half and half tennis match between the timeline, you know?
I think Paul Hollywood and his bacon probably probably drew less attention more than anything. But I don't know, did he fill out the Three Arena, but he filled out the Olympia. Was it the Olympia? Was he the Olympia? Yeah, it was the Olympia. Filled it out. No, he's going to bake some bread on stage.
Life is fucking bleak, Tom, isn't it?
Unless they've got some unbelievable stand-up game, like, going with it.
Well, like, you know, like, I appreciate it's what you're into and all this kind of thing, but, like, you know, would you go see fucking Delia Smith live? You probably would if you were into that kind of thing.
What's her name? What's Mary Berry? Sure. She rocked the ploughing championship. I'm telling you now, she rocked the ploughing championship.
Doing what, though?
Bacon.
We're in the wrong game, Tom.
Bacon shit. And she was getting about 50 grand a day to do it.
you know, like, you know, we're in the wrong game. We're like, would you want to come see some stand-up comedy? Nah, I'm going over here because, like, there's a lad I know from YouTube going to be playing Xbox games on the screen. And
There you
watch
go.
him live.
That's where we've lost the fucking run of
Times are
ourselves.
changing. Are we dinosaurs?
Yeah, I don't know. Was it ever that popular? But it's I don't know.
It was.
Yeah, I suppose it was. But at the same time, I mean, there's now 7,000 people doing it. So
yeah, well, that's true. But I'm going mad on the water here. I'm spilling it all over your fancy new equipment, Tom. Since I've seen you last.
Don't you worry about it.
This thing's got gains and
you got gains, bro.
Peak channel, whatever that is.
I'd love to be able to tell you what any of that does, but I can't.
Doesn't serve me a plate of ham, I notice.
Nope, nothing. Oh yeah, the Tom and Jerry. Yeah, we never got into still to this day I get plagued at least twice a week. When's the Tom and Jerry show coming back?
It never went away.
No.
Don't call it a comeback. It's
I've been here for years.
We've been here for years, Tom. Yeah. It's we went nowhere.
No, we did not. We've
been quiet.
That's all.
We didn't quit like REM.
No.
We just went quiet like the Eagles.
Do you know we should yeah, exactly. They fell out too, though.
Yeah,
but
they fell out too. No,
but still, they struggled through professionally. Like apparently, they fucking hated each other on stage. Like,
yeah, but they knew where the money was.
It was like it was almost like the Father Ted. Like, just play the fucking note, play the last fucking.
Come on.
And that's essentially what the Eagles.
Hotel California, take it home, lads.
Yeah. We're out of here. But I think people like the fact that there was no kind of timeline on our.
No,
it was just
that was by
little
design.
segments.
If anybody here is looking to run a short-lived podcast,
put no dates on it.
No dates on it.
Yeah,
and we did like six episode batches, so at least it meant that
there was seasons.
There was seasons of it, so you just have to wait a little longer for season 4, like Arrested Development, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Arrested Development. I never thought about it like that.
We're busy men, Tom. I mean, what you're doing with the Buckshot podcast is a testament to you because like it's a weekly show, it's weekly output. Like,
yeah,
you know,
twice weekly
with the Ramble Pod as well. I couldn't subscribe to that pressure, Tom. I'm splitting down the middle as it is.
Listen, if I didn't have that kind of pressure, I'd be running around with my fucking hair on fire, Jerry. I need to actually have that sort of discipline. I have to imagine that somebody's going to beat me with a big fucking stick.
Do you think that's what happened to Michael Jackson? Like he just didn't have a podcast.
There was no podcast and his
fucking hair
on fire.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, I might be able to dance after all this. So if I just quit.
Yeah, or you might go like well crazy.
Well, I don't care if I go well crazy if I make a bag of fucking money. Grand job.
Yeah, so yeah, it's leaps and bounds for the Tom O'Mahony podcast train, and all the equipment's looking fine, and the output is fantastic.
But sure, we're here in the Laughter Lounge, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
that's how you know you're doing fucking well, is when you're in the Laughter Lounge. There you are, live.
It is eerie to be here with nobody in it. I gotta tell you, this is very like a recurring nightmare that I have.
Well, you just walk on.
Mine is walk on and there's nobody here.
Is that your recurring nightmare with stand-up? Is that you'd walk on, there'll be nobody here?
My recurring nightmare with stand-up is a gig that just doesn't start. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
Like you're waiting around, and it's always in the
same... that's purgatory, like.
That's purgatory. It's always in the same room, and it's a room that we've never played.
But it's somewhere down the country, we'll say.
No, it's like the room is round. It's always round, and it's sort of tinged with red, so it looks sort of like the Sugar Club if it was round and sort of flatter.
I've definitely done that gig by the sounds of things.
You know that kind of thing? Yeah. And there's me and like 5 or 6 comedians loitering around the back and no punters whatsoever. And you just sort of called up, and there's maybe people drifting in and out, and the promise that someone might come in.
Yeah.
And you just go up and kind of make a bit of a start, and then you look around, and then you kind of wander off, and you say, right, I'll go back up in 5 minutes if people come in.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I know that stress.
You know that kind of stress stream? And I've had gigs that are way worse than this.
If anybody wants to listen to the back catalogue of the Tom and Jerry show,
we're not going to go into it here, but we've had some stinkers. Don't you worry about that.
I've collated, not as they're not as frequent, but I definitely collated another 6 or 7 for you anyway for the next round of Tom and Jerry show.
I was really disappointed. I went to do a gig way down the country in Wexford, I think. And I went down, and it was looking like it was going to be an absolute stinker. It was out in the smoking area of a bar on the stage. There was 2 planks on beer crates, and it was right beside the road. The bus stop was right there. The bus just it was open air. Like the bus stop kept pulling up outside it. There was 2 or 3 dogs in the audience. It was a pure day you get one, but like there was at least 3 of them. And I was like, this is going to be the mother and father of all stinkers, and at least I'll have something to talk about, you know. And we went up, and it was lovely.
Was it?
It was lovely. It was me and Kevin Sullivan and Gar Moran.
Right.
It was delightful. I was a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, because you're prepped for that.
You're prepped for, like,
And you want a miserable story to tell me too when we sit down and have a chat, like, because
Yeah.
you don't want to tell me, this class gig down at Wexford.
Like, I'm doing my level best for you, Tom.
Don't worry. I've got enough for all of us in the last couple of months. A couple of fucking hairy ones, all right.
But yeah, there you go. What you got for me? What's going on?
The like that I was saying, the Tom and Jerry show and everything else. This I see. I knew you'd be a handy first guest up because you've no bother in talking.
Oh,
it's unreal.
Well, that's never the issue, Tom.
As Irish people go, but I was we talk like nobody's fucking business. But I was in the Czech Republic last week, and sweet Jesus Christ, to see how zero crack feels. Like when you pull out all the crack out of a sentence, it becomes a very short fucking sentence. I can tell you that much. It's unbelievable. Like I and it's only we were there for a few days, and you kind of go, all right, all right. You don't have any banter at all. Like,
shit, like there's a difference, Tom, between what you and I say and what actually needs to be said.
Oh yeah. Like as I've said it on many occasions on this stage, even that cultures especially could talk for hours and say fuck all.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Just back and forths of, hush, that's more of it now. Huh?
But that's it. Just ramble pod, isn't it?
There you go.
And try and make a wee lick of sense in it all.
Did you pay any attention? Because you have to pay attention big style to the news, don't you? Really, like?
You do.
Or do you like to skim over it and go, I don't want to know the full facts?
No, you gotta keep manners on the news. Yeah, you gotta, and there's times I wish I didn't. Is you open the papers and it's just like Christ, you know.
Oh yeah. I'll do it once every 5 days, and then it's just that's depressing. Let's put that back in the pocket.
And especially when you have to try and make hay out of it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You gotta take this chicken shit and make chicken salad.
Have you done a Jesus one lately?
Not really, no.
Because you've done a few now.
I have.
You've done a few now, all right. Where it's
to be seen. I mightn't think that they're all that.
Where it makes people's hair stand up on their ears, like, oh Jesus.
But there's times you could write. You can't write anything more horrific than the news itself. You genuinely can't.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Like you go looking into the news, and what I do is I'll go on like 2 or 3 websites, the Independent and the Journal and such like, and generally in the morning they'll have like a what's happening recap, like 10 headlines around like that, and you dive into that and you try and make hay out of each of those headlines, and that's a good start to any day. And you look at it, and sometimes it's just absolute abject human misery, and you're like, there's fucking nothing you can do here. You know, give me a ray of hope here somewhere. Give me something that's horrific, but like in a gas way.
Have you had any lately of your absolute, because you see, it's almost like, the candid camera people, they start getting spotted after a while,
right,
going, like, have you still had any of the absolute belters, like, where you had...
You'll always get someone.
You had Aldi. Was it Aldi or Lidl?
It was Aldi. Yeah, it was Aldi. I mean...
Do you want to fill the listeners in on this one in case they're not fully sure?
Well, see, this thing, like, we get taken up by news agencies as real all the time.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Now, only sometimes you get, like big ones where, like, someone big, like Fox News or fucking... It wasn't even Fox News. It was, like, the German... branch of Fox News.
Das Fox.
Das Fox.
Das Foxenhausen.
Would take you up as legit. And that's one thing. You kind of look at something like that and you go, well, that's a fucking professional organization that just got duped. Could happen to us all, right?
Mm.
But like the people in Ireland, I would have thought everybody would be wise up to us now.
Yeah.
But every day, you'll still get people that would, and God love them. It's great. And we
love that. You love that.
Appreciate every single person that reads the website. It's absolutely brilliant, and thank you very much for doing so. But some of us are gas. Sometimes the righteous anger that comes out of some people.
Really,
take this down. That's the one thing that always
really take it down.
Take this down. That was the one thing that that's the one you can say whatever you want. And we've been called absolutely everything, and because we just kind of pool our stories and put them in with no byline on it, so you don't know who wrote what. So
yes,
it's really just this is the site's output rather than mine and yours and his and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Of we the people way of looking at things. So if you say it about one of us, you say about it all of us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That kind of way. A lot of it's water off a duck's back and, whatever. The one thing that gets me is just take this down. Just that, nothing else. As I have decreed, this needs to be taken down.
Nothing to do with the fact that it's...
And just, that's it. I've spoken. I don't need to say it anymore. Take this down. I'm just fuck off.
And you try to imagine what that... Because when I read comments under anything that I've ever done, it's... I mean, it'd be few and far between in comparison to something like the Waterford Whispers. But you try, rather than actually going into their profile, and, you know, especially... Well, on your website, you can't really see a profile, but you're kind of wondering, what do you even look like? So I could know to cross the fucking road, because you are... Just like, what are you fucking thinking? It's a satirical website.
Well, I got to tell you, like, we one of the rules that we would have had on the website is don't comment underneath it, don't go into it. You want to fucking see me biting through my
really, yeah,
not to get on and go, you know, or whatever it might be, or even if someone says something nice, go on and say thanks, you know. So we just don't do that, you know.
Yeah.
And we don't have to, because the other fans of the website will generally shut down anybody that's, you know, coming strong with bullying or trolling or anything like that. They'll kind of wheesh them up a wee bit and go, look, you're on a satirical website, you know.
Get with the program, like.
Yeah.
You haven't done a whole pile, and I mean, there must be loads of meat on the bone, like on the likes of. Well, I was expecting to see something from the weekend gone of the fighting going on at the weekend. Did you? I mean, the whole world and their mother has heard about it. Like, or is it too easy?
You know, there's nothing too easy in this life for me, Tom. But you'd find that we would, like, you know, you always try and come up with new material.
Yeah,
like anything else you do or write or say on stage or anything like that. You know, keep it a wee bit interesting.
Yeah,
and you are talking to a man that's been telling the same story on stage. Quite some time, but I do my best to kind of change it every time and hold it up and get it good. McGregor's been around a long time, so we would have had our scalps out of him a couple of times. So it's coming up with something new. Now, God love McGregor, he'll always give you something new to slag him about.
Oh yeah.
Is the gift that keeps on fucking giving, you know.
But sure, he doesn't care once.
He doesn't care once. No, doesn't care a little bit.
Like, how many people on the net? Like, what would it get? Like, say the North Korea one you did that time. How many shares did that get? Or is it shares or views or how?
Shares or views or click-throughs. Like, you know, you get stories like that are up into the millions. Like, you know,
really?
Yeah. I mean, that's nice. It's nice when you see a story like that go big. And you can never count on it. That's the wonderful thing about the website. Yeah, I'm only really speaking for myself here now. There's what I like about it, and the guys, you know, you'll have to ask them. But I like when a story that it was a good story, but, like, you know, it just exploded out of nowhere and went huge, and you're like, I just never seen that coming. And then there was other stories where you're there writing it to yourself and going, this is a peach, this one's going to soar, this is like proper order, you know, super mega viral hit, and it does all right, and then it peters out, and you're like, God, I was so confident. I put all my chips on that one. I thought that was going to, and then out of nowhere, this other story just goes fucking super mega viral. So it just really keeps you on your toes and sort of lets you know that you're not really in charge, you know. It's the fans and it's the people that are reading the site and sharing the stuff and clicking through. You know, they're the real boss.
Yeah, of course.
And you can't turn around and go like, this is a hit, signed, sealed, and delivered. They'll tell you whether it is or not. It's very like going up on stage when you have a joke that you want to tell, and you're like, this is a sitter. This is just a peach, man. This is gonna rock this place, and it just doesn't really sit with the crowd. Yeah, they're the boss. They'll tell you whether it's funny or not. You know?
Oh yeah.
You can't etch in stone anything. No matter, like, you know yourself, Tom. Even if it's a joke that you've done a couple of times before, and it's killed in every single room.
Oh, come here! I've done gigs here and gone across town with the exact same set in the exact same set of time, and something's off. You know, like what?
And they're the boss. So when you're writing for people that have stuck with you for a couple of years with the site, they're the boss. Well, that's the way I look at it. Anyway, like, you know, so you always have to keep fresh material. Don't just come with the same stuff. Don't just be stale. You know, always try and make something new or find a new way to tackle the same thing. I mean, Trump, we're going to be putting up with him for another 2 years, and it's going to get real fucking old. Yeah. If you're just doing, he's got orange skin, and you know, you got to move with it to
Yeah,
keep it, and even for yourself, you're writing it like you don't want to sit down on
you lose the will to live.
like, oh, fucking Trump is an idiot. Just keep you on your toes and stay fresh and keep the.
So changing tack altogether. I need your opinion on this because, like I was saying, we were in the Czech Republic last week.
What were you doing in the Czech Republic? What the fuck were you doing in the Czech Republic?
Because you can go to the fucking Czech Republic.
Oh, it's just a holiday?
Yeah.
Why'd you go to the Czech Republic?
Because that's the fuck... do you want to know the real reason?
Go on.
Because one of my favourite bonds of all time was Casino Royale.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't tell me that you were flicking through the Falcon brochure and go, this
No,
nice.
it was put to me like this. I think Natasha may have seen it in like a Queen Latifah movie or something, right? And she was like, that fucking hotel, that place looks lovely. We should go there sometime. I was like, yeah, sounds great. Next thing she went, do you know it was in Casino Royale? It was the one where he was playing... I'm like, you're fucking joking me.
There you go.
The one where you had the cardiac arrest out in the car from the poison. She's like, that's the one.
Book it.
Fucking book it.
There you go.
Book it. Also, there was a couple other places there, like I think the Grand Budapest Hotel was filmed there and stuff. But we went, right, so the whole town is built around a spa, right? So it's like Leamington Spa in the UK and all the rest of it. So it's an old Roman town, but there's these little spigots everywhere, and you're supposed to be drinking this stuff as you're tipping around all day. So you can buy little porcelain cups that have the town's name written on it, and people are supping away out of these things all day. And it tastes like fucking diorite. It's a bit rank.
It's just right. So it's just
warm.
The water,
but it's coming up out of the ground. And it's supposed to be really good for you, right?
All
So
right.
this is the basis of the whole town. Now we were the youngest in the town by about 40 years, right? In the whole of the city, we'll say.
Right.
And I was looking around, going, "What's the fucking crack here?" Right? Because
it sounds like it's got a real Lourdes vibe about it.
It's no. There's nothing religious about this at all.
No, but just old people, fucking.
I think, old rich people. And I think what was going on there was that they were doing there was all sorts of spa treatments and everywhere, but it was all sorts of treatments, and then the treatments and the descriptions turned very schnitzy stuff. Like, do you know the writing that looks like bent paper clips?
Yeah.
And we went into this one building, right? That it essentially looks like something KGB built.
Right.
Because on the outside it looked lovely because it was nicely painted, but as soon as you walked in, it had that, that brown marble, that real communist brown marble floors halfway up the walls.
Yes.
That stuff, and still the square clock hanging out of the ceiling.
Yeah.
And all the corridors look
that
exact
clock,
same,
Tom,
right?
strikes me like when it's 12 o'clock, like a little man comes out of the side, a little clockwork mouse with a hammer and bangs a bell.
Well, no, one has a sickle and the other has a hammer. But so it was just to use the jacks, basically, right? We popped into this place, so our set went off, and I'm nosing about, and all these nurses were walking around. They all look like bodybuilders, right? These female nurses, and there were all these doors down along, and I nosed around because one of them popped out or headed in one of the doors, and just as I looked around, there was a bath, right? This is some fucking hostile sounding shit, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
This woman who kind of looked, she could have been just a very ugly woman or it was a man, I don't know, was in a bath, right? But the whole bath was covered with like this rubber film up only with their head protruding from it, like the time Ace Ventura came through the rhino's arse. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Just like that. And the whole room was red as well, like as red could be. And you lock the door in behind him. So I'm like, right, that is fucked up. Next, another woman comes out, and there's all sorts of medical instruments inside, like there's scalpels and everything. And she locks somebody into that room. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
How much was it? You should have done. Excuse me. You should have just done one of these for the.
I'll be honest with you. I
shit
the bed. Because there was a few things that came like had we stayed there a few more days, we would have found out a few more bits. Like there's one particular old Mexican fellow we were talking with, multimillionaire, the fucker.
Oh, why?
And he was telling us that the reason why they were there for 2 weeks was he'd been coming for 20 odd years, but his wife's sister, she's very fat apparently. He was not my wife. Sister, very fat. So
I keep forgetting this is a podcast. I'm here like doing little shrugs like, hey, yeah, I got to say this.
No, but this is what the man, I'm just verbatim saying what he's saying. And he says, we're here for treatments for her for the 2 weeks, for her fatness. I'm like, what could you do in 2 weeks?
Is that salad on a run?
I'm thinking there's shit going down here that isn't entirely legal worldwide. Because it's essentially, you've got to drive through about 20 miles of forest to get to this beautiful little town. So nobody's coming in from the back. No, like next stop is Austria. Just up from that is Germany.
One motorcycle fence jump away.
One pair of pajamas away from it.
It's like, so you crossing the border, sir? Yes, just get that 1940s motorcycle and take a good run at that fence, pal.
The old Indian,
It didn't make it.
But I was okay with all that, right? And I said, fuck it, I'm going to give a go, because our spa in the hotel was renowned, right? All the waters and the jacuzzis never had this fucking fancy water, and it was supposed to be unreal for your skin. I said, I'm going to give that all a go. This is great. I said, you know what I fancy now is an old steam and a sauna.
Right.
And this is where I need your opinion, right?
Hit me.
Now, I understand I'm in another country.
Gotcha.
But stick up a fucking sign or something. I wasn't ready, Jerry.
Oh, no?
No, I wasn't ready for the amount of fucking gear I was about to see when I walked into the steam sauna area.
Lads with the lads out.
Lads with the lads out, old ones with the fucking bangers out. It was just everywhere. And it just, my Catholic brain wasn't ready for it, I say, is what, it's, but have you ever...
I used to go to a gym that had a sauna, and you would go into it with, like, your togs on.
Yeah. And that's completely acceptable, am I right?
They had a sign up. I remember in the sauna I used to go into...
Did they sign up?
No, they had a sign up that said no shaving in the sauna.
Who the fuck was shaving in the sauna?
The notion would never occur to you, right?
Who's fucking shaving in a sauna?
Right? No, this is it. Like, if I hadn't had that sign up, it would never have got me interest. But, like, I was across from a lad, and I goes, what's with the sign?
Huh.
And he goes, like, seemingly when you're pissing sweat, like, your pores are real open or some shit, and you get, like, the best shave of your life. Like, you just get the...
Oh, like a hot towel shave at the...
Like a hot towel shave, yeah. It's like getting a fortnight's worth of a shave. Like, you're shaving hair that hasn't even grown yet.
Regardless, you can feel this double get a bit spiky in them places, but at the same time, I would never go, oh, do you know what? Yeah. I'll tip back into the old dressing room there.
Get the Mach 3 in.
I get the Mach 3 going.
Yeah. Now, which is...
And what are you, like, how are you even tapping it off the side of the sink? There's no sink in there.
There's no sink there, right? So you don't put up a sign telling me not to do shit that you don't want me to immediately try. So...
Did you?
Hells yeah.
Did you bring in, like, a wet razor and all?
Bring in the wet razor, and you bring in, like, a wee cup of water. And you get good and steamy, and then you shave away at yourself, and you... in the thing. And you don't need, like, soap or anything.
Right.
I was like fucking Blaine from Predator, man. I was just like... It's just like fucking...
It's in the trees.
Just shaving away,
Well, a little bick. It didn't snap at any point, no, did you?
No, it was a decent Mach 3 kind of thing. But do you know what? I'll tell you one that might suit you better, Tom.
See, I could totally tolerate that, like a man shaving in the corner, like. What about
But just lads and boobies and such like hanging out now.
But it's just
would give me pause.
Cock and balls and fucking tits and flaps out everywhere, and it was like, and I'm sure it probably would have made a difference had there been everybody amazing walking in there. I probably would have went, oh, this is kind of a class place to come, but at the same time, I'm totally self-conscious now because you all look amazing. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Do you know what?
There's no good way for this to...
that would probably be the sauna that I would go to, where everybody was just around about a 5. And
yeah.
I'd fucking blend straight in, So I'm carrying a little holiday weight here, Tom. You know what I mean? If it was everybody just amazing looking, I'd be there like, all sheepish in the corner. But if everybody's just wrecked, that'd just suit me down to the ground. I could just sit back and be wrecked. Wouldn't hold the stomach.
I'll be honest with you, it wasn't that they were wrecked or they weren't wrecked. It was the fact that it was just, there wasn't a sign up or not.
You know what, Tom? It's not every day you just get surprise boobies and dicks and balls in your face,
It's a valid point you make.
So it would give anybody pause for it to be sprung on them.
No, I didn't fuck off immediately out of the place because I didn't want to look like the weirdo. But I kept the togs on. I had a couple of drinks I probably would have togged off, all right.
You say there was no signs, Tom. I'd love to know what that sign would look like. Just walk me through it there. If we're using like
cocks ahead,
the signs that are on, like, say, toilets where it's just a little man and a little woman, or the sign that's above an emergency exit door where it's a little man running out a door, what would be the sign outside a sauna that says
"Togs off,
dicks out in here"? Probably just that.
Just that, quite literally. Just his legs are a little wider and just a.
He's sitting down and his legs are like out in a V, and he's just sort of leaning forward with his elbows on his knees with his fucking balls hanging down.
His whole junk hanging out,
and he's just got like real sweaty look on it. I have a treatment that might suit. I can tell you the polar opposite of that treatment.
Okay.
If that's one treatment, a lovely, relaxing, warm spa.
Yeah.
Bollock naked in the Czech Republic.
Okay.
I can tell you the absolute negative picture of that. Like the negative of a picture where black is white and white is black.
Okay.
The absolute. It was a thing, and I only seen it once, and I reckon it was something that they were trying to make it catch on, but it never could. All right.
Right.
So, have you ever seen in a shopping centre, there might be like a little relaxing chair that you sit down on and put €2 in it and it'll vibrate.
Yes,
You know
saw them at the airport.
You saw them at the airport, right?
I did.
So they always struck me as like the bleakest fucking thing you've ever seen in your life, right?
The only thing I've ever stopped for in the airport for the crack, because your man was such a nice fella, was to get my boots polished.
Right.
And sure, the boots were so wrecked. Sure, the man he could be still at him. Sure, he couldn't pull these yokes back from the fucking
don't
from the
believe
date.
I've ever fucking worn a pair of shoes that weren't in shining, Tom. Right. So picture picture the vibrating chair in a shopping centre.
I'm with you.
And you know, I've never seen anyone use them. Right. It strikes me as so bleak that if you can't get out of a fucking Tesco without having to sit down in a shiatsu chair, right? That shiatsu chair is not going to do you
if they were selling them, I'd understand why people would jump in and go, sure, I'll give it a go and see, might buy one. But they're not.
I actually bought a shiatsu pad on an impulse purchase one time in Power City.
Where does that go?
It was about 30 quid, and it went in the back of your chair.
What, do you plug it into the fag lighter in the car, or do you take it home and plug it into that?
You probably could put it into the cigarette lighter in the car. This one had a 3-pin plug in it, so it was for home. It was the kind of thing you'd have it in the office.
But would it massage the whole off you, was it?
No. It was the back of the chair.
Okay, not
right.
The
seat. It was the back of the chair, and you lay back into it, and there was like a wee sort of gimbal that would go around and would knead your back up and down.
Okay. Was
it
good?
You got 30, 40 euros worth out of it.
How many times did you use it?
Oh, maybe twice.
It's under the stairs now, isn't it?
It's up in the attic.
Right,
where it was. You don't throw things like that out. It'll do some good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what it'd be? Do you know where you'd see it, Tom? You'd see it in the like of an Oxfam
second-hand
shop, sitting in the corner for about €10 because some relative died and there was one in the house. And just gave everything.
It's the precursor to the beads on a taxi driver's.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
So obviously there was this sort of relaxing shopping centre craze.
Yeah.
All right. This is I'm trying to think when this was. Okay, so it's before my wife BW. So we're going at like we started going out like 8 or 9 years ago. So it's before that. Possibly we began. So it's like 10, 12 years ago.
Right.
I seen a version of this in the Buttercrane Shopping Centre in Newry. Right.
I've been in it.
Yeah. Right. Was a lovely place in the 80s.
I know the sort.
It's like Newry's ILAC Centre.
I get you. But even the ILAC is a bit fancy, like it's these days. Like,
these days.
It's closer to the Crumlin Shopping Centre.
Remember, this story takes place about a dozen years ago. Right?
Okay.
Okay, and there was a couple of people there, and they were trying to get people into these relaxation devices, which I'm going to describe to you now, Tom, all right? Okay, so if you ask me, they were very like people that had vape kiosks 5 years ago.
I'm with you.
Nowadays, with a vape kiosk, they don't give a fuck if you go up to them or not, right? But remember 5 or 6 years ago, they're like, hey, do you smoke? Would you like a fucking...
Yeah, because they have you hooked now.
They were like, come hither. I want to explain to you how this thing works. And you're there going like, oh, boils the chemicals and I breathe them. Brilliant, right. So it was that kind of thing. It was real sort of, hey, would you like to come over here and relax for 10 minutes?
Right.
You know, so like I say, immediately this is the polar opposite of your Grand Budapest Hotel with the fucking Elgin marble and such like. This is the Buttercrane Shopping Centre with fucking quarry tiles on the ground, right?
I'm with you. Yeah.
In the middle of the fucking shopping centre, right?
Oh, okay. Up the centre bit, right? Right.
And the device was this, right? You got onto it with your clothes on, not your shoes, right? Okay.
Front of everybody, you took off the shoes.
You have your clothes on, you just don't have your shoes
on. Okay, right.
And you lay down on this sort of bed, and the bed was like raised at a 45-degree angle, right? You with me so far?
I am.
So the bed was raised at like a 45-degree angle, and you sort of lay on it like this is some fucking Frankenstein experiment, right?
So the whole table, not halfway.
The whole table is at a 45-degree angle, okay? And a second tarp.
What?
A tarp. Right?
Okay.
Comes down over you up to the neck, right? So the tarp is on you like a blanket.
Lovely.
And you're underneath this sort of plastic rubber tarp. And then it sprays high pressure water at you.
What?
Yeah, it like if you imagine an arm going from head to toe, like a car wash, going from head to toe, with jets of water that would just bombard you with high pressure water from the feet up to your neck and then back again. And the tarp kept you dry and you're still wearing your clothes.
So they were power washing you
washing you, yeah, without getting you wet.
What in the fuck?
Right? and everything was done with like gullies and channels, so there wasn't like water pissing everywhere and getting passers-by. It was all a self-enclosed thing, right? And you did 5 minutes at the start, and then
Were
you
the people
turned over.
watching you?
Yeah, I didn't do it.
Oh, okay.
It was £10.
I was going to ask what you'd been drinking to say you
I
gave it a
didn't do
go.
it. I was just like, and very few people did do it, like, because this is not a thing you're going to sign up for. To get fucking hosed down in your clothes under a tarp
For relaxation.
in the Buttercrane Centre. Like, that's not going to chill you out, Tom, right?
That sounds like one of the most stressful things.
So you there with your hot steam sauna, a couple of dicks and boobs about the place. Fair enough, we give you that, right? You weren't expecting that, but you certainly weren't expecting to get fucking car washed in the Buttercrane, and you only up there for the morning after pill.
This. What in the name? Like, if ever a fucking farmer was asked to come up with a way of fucking, we need a newfangled yoke for the TLC channel.
Do you know
or the QVC channel, I
it's
should
the
say.
kind of thing that you might have seen on the Innovators Night on the Late Late Show that never went anywhere.
Of course.
You know the way they bring it on, and this is what we're going to do, and this is or some shit that went in Dragon's Den and got laughed off it.
Your man is sweating bullets while trying to explain it to him, and he asked for fucking $1.5 million for 10%.
And you're like, fuck off.
So they were under the impression that power washed water out. How do you even come to that conclusion?
Well, like, the theory is sound. I can imagine there'd be a certain... if you could imagine, Tom, there'd be a certain relaxation to be power washed. Like, not, on your first night in prison, right?
I'd imagine I'd piss all over myself, to be honest with you, just out of fear and just the volume of water.
Well, you imagine like a fire hose. You're lying down, more or less, and like a power hose of water just like blasts you up and down.
We're talking Andy Dufresne style shit.
Andy Dufresne does, yeah, and then you come out of it and it just fucking delouse you. And you go into Superdrug and get cheap toothpaste.
And all of a sudden, you have to spend the night with a couple of weeks with Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. But that's it. That's what I'm bringing to the table today, Tom. That's what I'm bringing to the podcast.
Sweet suffering Jesus Christ. Have you ever gone for any like spa things? Like,
I have a voucher to go get my...
Of course you do. Everybody now, even listen to this second. I can promise you has a voucher somewhere for a hot stone massage.
The thing I asked for, and I still haven't done it, was like where they get like a little Asian lady walks up and down your back. You know that one?
Okay.
You know the one you lie down and...
Is that a thing?
Oh, yeah.
Because I've heard of it, but I didn't think it was actually a thing.
We can fucking go do it right now if you want.
I do it, yeah.
Now, I got a train to catch.
Okay, yeah.
Theory's good.
We should do another podcast while people stand on our backs.
And if you imagine someone walking up and down your back, and they don't just fucking stomp.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure there'll be places around Dublin you can get that done to you as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
This is like a gentle measured sort of little heel into your back, and she only weighs like fucking 80 pounds soaking wet.
Well, where do you even practice that?
Where do you get it? What happens if you get it wrong? She's just fucking...
Jesus Christ, on both levels, she could just come flying off you, like.
She's on like a...
She got like a harness.
It's like parallel bars. So if you imagine like the parallel bars...
Yeah, okay.
With like a table underneath it, and you lie on it, and she sort of walks on you. That
sounds as hokey as fuck.
No, this is generations old.
Is it?
Yeah, well, like it's Chinese medicine. They're sticking pins in you and everything.
Well, it's the cup yolks I can't wrap my head around.
Cup yolks, I can't fathom that.
Somebody's like there has
Someone's
to be
making a lot of money out of that.
There has to be, I say, a moment where you go, fuck off,
lads here now. But like I can see this. I can see the selling point on the cup yolks, where they turn around and go like, okay, here's your Dragon's Den pitch on the cup.
Yeah.
It's like leeches without the leeches. And you're like, fucking put me down.
But I like there's...
Are leeches any good? Don't care.
Leeches
without the leeches, pal, invest.
Genuinely, it's I'm so ignorant and I Google nothing because I don't want to know the truth. I'm much funnier being ignorant and I'm much happier being ignornt of things. So I see people with cup marks all over their back and stuff and I'm going, okay, I bruised your back, but so does paintballing. You know what I mean? Like, how is it like a leech will actually... I had a leech on my ear one time to draw down a cauliflower ear and he sucked the fucking Jesus out. It went back into its own shape.
Be a poor leech that wouldn't. You put a leech on your ear and he's just fucking sitting there. You're like, this is embarrassing for us both.
He had a job to do and he was a professional leech and I was paying for it.
Like the cupping thing, again... It strikes me as a thing that someone would do in a shopping centre if they were bored, right?
Yeah.
Why Michael Phelps was doing it before swimming, I cannot answer that.
Yeah.
I don't have the answer to that question.
I suppose you'll give anything a go, wouldn't you? Like, I mean, they gotta, like at that level. But when is a regular Tom or Gerry walks up and goes, I'm going for a cupping this week. What could spring in your head and go, just I'm in a bad way for a bit of cupping?
Do you know what? Desperation's a terrible thing as well. You know, if you had some ailment.
Yeah, right enough, yeah.
If you had some ailment and somebody told you, I got cupped and it did me the power of good, you'd say, fuck it, I'd give it a go.
Yeah. Well, this is it, yeah.
But I can't fathom how Michael Phelps, a swimmer at the peak, someone come up and hey, Michael, you know what'll put you a wee bit shinier in the water? Welts.
Okay, here's where the real cynical side comes out. And if Michael Phelps is 10-time fucking whatever, gold medal Olympian, and you're trying to get a fucking business off the ground with cupping, right?
Yeah.
And you go, here, Mike, do you reckon you're going to win tomorrow? Oh, fuck yeah, I'm all bet in my head, no problem.
Yeah.
Stick a couple of cups on you. How does this 10 million sound? Huh?
Here, Miguel, here's a thing that costs you nothing and makes you money.
There you go. Huh?
Huh?
And now all of a sudden every fucker and their mother's going, I might be able to swim as fast as Michael Phelps if I get... When was the last time you were at the pool? Oh, never. But I want the ability to be able to swim as fast as Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
Because we've all gotten the old hot stone massage vouchers.
But sorry.
Are you a fan of massages and all that stuff?
I had one massage in my life, and it was like it was a voucher that we had for some day treatment, and she had more heat in it than I had, and she got all sorts done and such like. And I was like, well, look, what can I get done?
Yeah.
And she goes, we'll get like a friggin' massage done.
Right.
And I said, fair enough. And I went in, and there was a chap there, and he was like, the chap in the white overalls, more or less, like the white sort of.
He looks like a henchman on one of the old fucking Bonds.
It's not a fucking skirt, but it's not a shirt either. But it's like a white shirt that comes down to about your knees.
I know the yoke.
I
know the yoke. Right? Yeah. And there's a button over to one side.
Over to one side, right?
Dr. Evil.
Yeah. Fucking despicable me looking, right?
Yeah.
And I went in, and it was like the entry level massage on it, because I didn't want to waste the money of the voucher, because she'd get more use out of it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to sit outside scratching my hole while she was in, right?
Right.
So I said, fuck it, I'll go in, this will kill a half an hour, right? And you lay down and he massaged you, and it wasn't like a sports massage, which I think I could do it.
Yeah.
Like, I think I've said it to you before, Tom. I could do with a massage that's like just this side of a salt. You know?
Yeah.
Like, if I could get someone to push me down a flight of stairs just the right way, it'd do me the power of good, right? Like, I want to hear some shit crack.
Much like the fight in Casino Royale.
Yeah. Like,
I got a picture taken on that stairs.
Oh, brilliant.
I didn't. I know. I was kind of watching out the window because I shouldn't have been out in that stairs. Like, you know yourself. But sorry, going back to you.
So yeah, I'd like some bones cracked, and like I have a spot on my neck that I really feel like I could do with a crack, and that's this year. But this was sort of like and you just relax.
Fuck off
I was like,
yourself.
Fuck off, fat gas, and come on, like, and he was a big, broad sort of Eastern.
He could have laid into you,
like. He could have kicked the shit out of me, like, and I would have fucking tipped him for it, like,
I got one that was like that. A good one that cracked all sorts. Like I was about an inch and a half taller walking out of the place.
I want that.
And it was a woman down. She had to rack up her hours, much like flight time,
Right.
And she was wife of a fella I worked with. And he says, "Listen, lads, fuck it, she needs to rack them up quick because she has a job starting in 2 weeks and she needs to be fucking qualified." Right. And I said, "Yeah, no bother." She says, "Do you want heavy rolling?" Or I said, "Go fucking." You've seen the pictures of me for years ago for my passport, like, yeah. Yeah, that man's head needs flaking, like, you know what I mean, like it was about an inch and a half.
You're my pal and all, Tom, but I could tell you my opinions on
it. You can tell me straight out. That's one reason why I put it up. It's self-flagellation. I want people to tell me, like.
It looks like John Travolta's face floating in the pool in Face Off. You know when he takes it when your man wakes up and he goes looking around and he just sees this face and it's just like floating flat from ear to ear.
Or just as John Travolta's head looks now. Him and Val Kilmer's heads just got massive from all the HGH they've been taking down through the years. But your man, your one did a mighty job. She cracked all sorts of... She was more of a chiropractor than anything else. She was cracking out fucking chunks in muscle and then cracking bones together. It was powerful. It was fucking sore as hell. Walked out of there thinking, that must be what massages are. Right. They're mighty yokes. I'll go once a month. Never went again, right? No. Until we went on the honeymoon, right? And ourselves says we should rightly treat ourselves here now.
Why not?
Well, if ever there was a fucking chancer at this one, it was like all she had was just hot, spiky fingers.
Right.
And it just felt like somebody was just prodding me with fucking knitting needles up and down. It was just, but it wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't getting into the fucking source of the issue. All she was doing was just pinching me. It was the shittest thing of all time. Like 2/3 of the way in, I went, yeah, that'll do. She goes, oh, you can't take it. I was like, no, it was, because I kept on going, oh, can you fucking, nah.
Do you know what it sounds like, Tom? Do you remember when you were small and you kicked your ball into the whins?
Yeah.
You had to go in after it, like, fuck.
Spiking
going as slow as I can, but these things...
Yeah, still getting you. So I'm on the fence. And then when I saw the carry on, like, not troubled me, but I was just left me wondering, what could they do for that Mexican woman's fatness in 2 weeks? Like, the way he was saying it, she was going home thin, like.
Was it like a liposuction kind of jobby?
Oh, I'd say I would imagine if it was...
For starters, is Tom.
For starters, and after that, I'd say this place, the kind of money that was rolling around this place, Jerry, we'd no business being there. I would be walking around, be scummy head and be like...
The liposuction's is a thing now. I seem to recall... There was a lady on the late show got liposuctioned, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was the lady who was the lead singer of Who's Eddie. Give you an idea how far back it was.
Right. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I think she was on, and I apologise to her if it's not her I'm talking about, but we're on about...
She's a big listener to the podcast.
She was on about, like, you got liposuction, but it wasn't just a case of, now I'm skinny, I fuck off home. Like, you have to kind of wrap yourself in cling film, like you get a new tattoo. Yeah. And just sit there like that for, like, a month. I don't know. A long ass time.
Well, they had, I figured there was so much money in this place, and we're still talking, there was still hints of the hammer and sickle knocking around the place a small bit, like a bit, that kind of way. And I would say if you needed a new body, they were doing head transplants. Do you know that kind of way?
You reckon what they were going to do to make this woman thin was like, she was going to like just get the shit kicked out of her by the KGB or something?
Something was going to happen. Like
going down the mines.
Like it struck me as like that build, like the whole place looked lovely, bar that building we walked into to use the jacks, where it had just down every corridor, and those creepy fucking nursery birds coming out with massive big backs. They're all big strong bitches, and they had a look of them that I'd say the same doctor from the Human Centipede trained there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was, nothing was off limits if you had the moolah, like, that kind of way. Yeah. It just, if you were willing to put yourself through that kind of shit, you had money. You know what I mean? But this man was convinced she was going home to Mexico thin, but she was already too fat. So something was happening in that 2 weeks.
He sounds like a charming gentleman, Tom.
He was a lovely fella. He was walking around with his little dog, the whole lot. I mean, how we brought the dog from Mexico, I don't know. Like, but he had
money.
Yeah, if you have money, you fly your own plane in.
Yeah. Not like you and me, Tom, trying to fucking cram everything into a bag that you don't have to check. Oh, for the love of Jesus Christ, almighty. Did you know what? How I knew we were having a good holiday? We actually checked the bag. That's how you know you're rolling. I'll tell you the difference between me and that man, all right? He's fucking bringing a dog from Mexico to the Czech Republic. Yeah. I'm fucking going home with the wife wondering, how much space have you left in your suitcase, and we'll divvy it out between the two of us.
Yeah. Did you know what? Actually, I found on the way back we had a few bits and pieces that we'd picked up, and we'd gone to 23.5. The sweats that came over me. 23.5 kilos on the check-in bag. It was 20 kilos. Like, and you're going, oh, for the love of... But what they do in the Czech Republic, unions can be a great thing. No staff from any of the airlines are in there. It's all fucking unionized. The airport staff run the check-in desks. So your man, he gave it a look and went,
yeah,
grand job, boss. Yeah, on you go, kid.
I don't know what the fuck I was going to say there. It was probably lies. Oh no, that was like, anytime I go on holidays, I always take clothes I'm never going to wear again.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Half of it just stays behind. Do
you know what, Dim? I got a run last year of B&Bs and things I was staying in for work and hotels and that, and I got a run of lads like you leaving shirts behind. Yeah, because like 2 or 3 places, 3 in a row I went to, and 2 of them were almost the exact same shirt. Yeah, and it was in 2 different countries. No, the B&B owners, the B&B owners went, "Well, you do stay here before? Is there and it was a shirt that looked like a fella I'd be wearing. So I got 3 new shirts.
I basically go home with like an empty suitcase most times.
Would you?
Well, like it'd be full of shit the kids bought and toys and things like that.
Yeah.
But it'd be by design. I'd bring over like shirts that I've seen better days. A pair of trousers where the fucking where the Gucci them is just starting to go.
Yeah, it's just that furry stuff is starting to come on. Were you on holidays this year? You weren't you?
Yeah, I went to Portugal.
How was that?
Hot.
Was it?
Yeah.
What's it like bringing chiselers onto a roasting hot place?
Fucking nightmare, Tom.
Is it?
Yeah.
Straight out the gate.
Right
No
there,
crack at all.
Yeah.
How much drinking did you get done?
Not a whole pile, Tom.
Well,
I was off the drink there for a long time, and I was off the drink when I was on holidays. When I say off the drink, that sounds like I'm currently on the drink. But I didn't drink all year. And then
go away.
Yeah.
Why was that a conscious decision? Just for the crack? You want to reset the system?
I did the dry January thing.
Yeah.
And then I just rolled it.
Yeah.
And just rolled it, and then when I got a bit of manners back on myself around about August or September, I might have like a pint at a wedding or something like that, and then but not go like full hog.
Do you know what? It's good to reset because how delicious was that first pint when you started back? Like
that was nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you have a pint after a gig or something like that,
I went ferociously hard at it on holidays.
Yeah,
I did. Like that.
I've been there.
We'd no children, so it was. I went handy enough in the restaurants we were in and all the rest. But on the last night, I snuck into an award ceremony for the Czech and Russian TVs. More so because I saw them setting up a big keg. It was like a promo keg,
right? And
nobody was drinking from your man. They were all drinking champagne and wine and shit. So I toddled in one door, convinced your man to let me in the door, and then toddled back out the door and went, "Hi, I'm inside," and your man started smirking at me. He knew full fucking well. What are you doing in there with an Irish accent? And in fairness, he was a bit of crack, like.
I'm a producer.
And then I just started laughing. I went, "Nah, I'm staying in the hotel. Is anybody drinking your beer?" And he was like, "No, nobody's drinking." And he had this big fucking lovely set, like as big as that joke there. Like we're talking a 4-foot diameter big keg behind him. It looked shit. And I says, "Give us now a fucking sup of it there. Go on." And in fairness to him, he was there to get rid of about 200 pints, like.
Had to go somewhere.
And even herself went, I'd say, "You'll stop here, will you?" And I says, "Do you may as well go up to the room, pet, because we know it's..." And she, in fairness, she was kind of going, "It would be remiss of you, Tom, to pass up this situation. There's free beer on the go, and you're fond of beer. So do you know what? Walk me up to the room there, and you toddle away back down." So I walked her up to the room, gave her an old kiss, and I said, "I'll see you when I'm really drunk."
Yeah.
And it panned out exactly like that. I got really fucking drunk.
Holiday drunk's scary because you're not in your own surroundings.
Well, in fairness, I didn't, but I didn't have far to go. You know what I mean? And I was dressed well. We dressed very well the last night. Now I was very, very snazzily dressed because it was a hotel that kind of required like
the Casino Royale hotel.
Yeah, like we're talking 35-foot ceilings in the bar.
Sweet.
Like cornicing, like you fucking would never see, like a mirror, 20-foot mirror, like shit was going down. Like it looked like it wouldn't been out of place if somebody from Red Sparrow sat up beside me.
But how would you heat the place, Tom?
But this is it. This is it. This is what I was saying. How would you fucking heat the place? 35-foot, 40-foot ceilings.
You made a right side of it, did you?
Oh, sure, I went to fucking town. But to be fair, like even to buy beer inside in the fancy bar was like fucking. I was terrified the next day because I had a few in the bar and all the rest of it. And it only came to like 15 quid.
Oh yeah, no, it's a nightmare. I mean, like we were on holidays there a couple of years ago. We had the kids with us and we had the in-laws with us as well, and everybody was looking after everybody, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
But I made a fucking hog of myself drinking one night. We were on holidays just when the Eurovision was on, and we watched it, and I fucking got shit-faced drunk.
Chatta, it was the Eurovision. You were on holidays,
and we were staying in like wee chalets.
When you've no car to be fucking thinking about,
because
you know you'll never have the responsibility pop up and go, "Jerry, you have to drive somewhere," because it's not a possibility.
No,
because there's no car, and that's what my liberation is.
I couldn't go anywhere if I tried.
Yeah, exactly.
But my problem when I'm on holidays is I'll always sort of get up and go to, if I fall asleep on the sofa, as I would be known to do.
Yeah,
I'll get up and go to bed where my bed is at home.
Okay. Were you in an apartment or?
We're in like a little chalet.
Right.
And like, if I say, right, to get to bed, I go out here through this door. At home it's like out through this door, down the hall, and second door on the right.
Right.
And it just so happened when we were in Italy, this was, and I got shit-faced drunk after watching the Eurovision. And I woke up and the brain is like, you just muscle memory will gather you. When you're drunk, muscle memory is all you can rely on. It knows where you're going. And it goes, okay, up and down this hall and, second door on the left and then you're in Clover. But sure, it was outside. It was outside, Tom.
Stop.
And the door fucking swung behind me and I'm now locked outside at
steaming drunk.
Morning, steaming drunk. And I could wrap the door and wake everybody up and get in. But the way your drunk sense kicks in?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I have a far more suitable plan, pal. Just fucking sleep here. And there was wee loungers.
That's what I was hoping you were going to say.
The plastic sun lounger things
that your arse sticks to.
Yeah. And it was like, lay on one of them, you'll be as right as ninepence. And I was like, but what'll I do? I'm cold. And it goes, like, pull that towel over yourself, you'll be grand. I was like, the towel that we had dried ourselves with swimming earlier and had left out on the air or to dry.
How dry was it?
Yeah.
Okay, it was a wet towel.
I'm there asleep outside on a fucking lounger with a wet towel over me, right? I did not wake up fresh the next morning, Tom. And the people in the chalet did not know where I was, and there had been a mild amount of panic.
Sweet Jesus Christ!
Yeah. That's my problem with holiday drinking is just if I let it go too much, I'll not be aware of where I am. And
I get you.
Be known to one.
In this particular situation, no matter how drunk I was getting, I was still very aware there was up to 60 of some of the meanest looking security people around this building for this awards thing, and they were still there. Do you know those motherfuckers? They didn't even come over here to bounce here, like.
It's not like the lads in the fucking stab-proof vests on the Dart. You ever see them boys?
Scarier
fucking
again.
OCP
Scary,
from
yeah.
OCP from RoboCop.
Yeah, quite literally, yeah. These fellas they were all in black suits, but there wasn't one of them under 6'3", under fucking 18 stone. Like, every one of them was mean as fuck. Like one fella had the fucking Glasgow smile, the whole thing. Like,
that sounds like the kind of security team, like, if one of them messes up, he gets shot.
Oh, he gets shot and eaten by the rest of them. Like, but there wasn't a cop to be seen anywhere in this whole place. Like, but that was in the back of my mind. So I didn't have complete liberation. Like, do you know, I knew I had to keep my shit together. So, like, I was out in the dance floor dancing like a prick. That wasn't a problem. But I knew full well if I acted a maggot in any which way, I'd be either directed or I didn't know what was going to happen.
Well, I'll tell you what my problem with the whole thing was, or why I quit the drink, or why I gave it up, or at least tried to put a wee bit manners myself. And I wouldn't say like I had a drinking problem or anything like that, Tom, because like there's people out there that have proper order or drinking problems.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be so flippant as to say that.
But
we all.
But I certainly had a habit.
We all, and that's why I came off it for the year that time.
Yeah.
Like,
it just became an habitual thing.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what got me.
Well,
the 8-pack of cans.
Instead of a 6-pack.
Because I'll tell you, the numbers just never added up, right? Because do you know what I would drink on a night? If I was at home of a Friday and there was a movie on, I would drink 3 cans of beer.
That's about a movie. Yeah.
That's my level. That's par for the course, right?
Yeah.
Anything less than that, I feel is like a waste of your time. And anything more than that, I would say, well, this is the beginnings of the session, right?
Yeah.
So 3 cans of beer would be my thing.
Right.
So I would always buy the 8-pack of cans because it's value. But you're always left with 2 cans. See what I'm saying?
This, absolutely.
And that's not level. And if there was 2 cans in the fridge goading me, like, have 2 cans, I'd be like, 2 cans is only a bit of an I'll take I'd need another one. So,
yeah. You got to get another 8 cans.
And the fucking side, it never bounces right that you're...
Do you think and you think that was by accident?
Not at all. It never bounced that there was no cans in the house.
By Jesus.
Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
And, I'd be the kind of guy that I couldn't, like, leave drink in the house. Like, I honestly don't believe I've ever in my life, not once, put a cork back into a bottle of wine.
I'm not much of a wine drinker, but I totally get what you're talking about.
What I'm saying,
Yeah.
So if it's there, I'll just kind of think. And you'd be waking up the next day shit-faced. Not shit-faced, just like groggy and shit.
Yeah.
And then what you'd be doing would be throwing coffee and sausage rolls into yourself to wake yourself up.
More shite, like, basically. Like, yeah.
And just, one hand wash the other. With shite.
But it does kind of, I like that, it does reset the system and it makes pints fucking delicious when you do have them. Then,
it did, and I have a wee bit more manners now. Like, I can leave drink in the fridge.
Right.
Well,
that in itself.
Where's my fucking parade?
Do you know what? On that delightful note, I know you've got after buying trains. How are you doing? Are you all right?
I'm doing all right.
Okay.
All right. I got about another 10-15 minutes of me if the good listeners of the Tom
Absolutely.
O'Mahony Buckshot podcast.
Live from the pod. This is live from the Laughter Lounge too. This is the Laughter Pod, the Lounge Pod.
I don't know. It's your podcast. You name it, pal.
No, we're going to leave. This is just... Do you know what? Actually, today, this is a momentous occasion. This is the recording of my... of between the Ramble Pods and all the other bits and pieces on this one of Buckshot. This is the 100th episode.
Get the fuck?
Yeah, this is the 100th recording.
How about
yeah,
that?
Somebody messaged me this morning going, who's going to be our 100th? And I was like, oh, it's actually going to be Gerry McBride.
Shit, I wish I would have known.
Yeah, sorry.
I would have rambled about the buttercream all day.
I didn't. It's only after popping in. I was in the fucking door here. We were trying to set up the mics and all the rest of it. So it kind of, got away from me. So this is the 100th recording of Buckshot.
100 episodes of Enton is tough going, Tom. That's something to be proud of, yeah.
Yeah.
That's something to be proud of.
And where better to do it than here at the Laughter Lounge?
This is the place to be. I love playing here.
It's
odd. It's odd being on a stage with no crowd here.
I've barely looked out once because I don't want to look out.
I feel like I'm on top of a roof looking over the side. You know what I mean? It's kind of
yeah. That's why I don't want to look out.
You know, it's and like you can get up here with like 300-400 people in these seats, not a bother on you. You know.
And it's a hell of a lot more easier than just sitting here without. Because even when we walked in, it was like, well, this is weird as shit.
It's only when you're up here now and there's no one here that you can get. A lot of people, if you tell them you do stand up or anything like that, they freak out because that's their idea of hell.
Yeah,
public speaking is a lot of idea of hell. Whereas for you and me, it's what we'd like to do and what we'd love to do.
Yeah.
But this is probably what it feels like. You know, this sort of unease, unsettling.
I'd imagine it's worse than this, Jerry. It's, you know what I mean, for poor old folk that for normal people who don't have a chemical imbalance, and you know, probably a predisposition to guzzling pints too. Like, you know what I mean? One washes the other hand.
Do you ever get that from the Muggles, Tom? Like, how do you get up there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the number one question.
What do you say to that? Because this is just normal for us. We've been doing this, like I've been doing this about 10, you've been doing this about the same? 10 years maybe?
9.
Coming up on it.
Yeah.
I think you came along the year after I started.
Yeah.
I made it look easy. But like this is just the norm for us.
I tell you, I was talking with most of the people I kind of talk to on the podcast and stuff like that. They're kind of performers of some sort. But the odd person who's like a sports person or whatever, like, I mean, ironically, I had a chap, Will Fleury's name, he fights out of SBG.
Yep.
And we were talking, he'd seen me perform a few times, like, and he was like, what was ironic was that he couldn't wrap his head around doing this shit.
Well, yeah, you know,
and he's a cage fighter.
And like the idea of being
he's a pro cage fighter.
Or even you had like fucking Spike on a couple of times. And I'd love to ask him, how do you fucking stand across from a man who's trained to kick the shit out of you?
And
that's your place to be. That's your happy place, you know, or that's all you want to do is do that.
The thing is, like, Spike's had a great record, a great run, but he's had a few losses. And it's the losses that would stick in my head if I was... No, I mean, maybe it's always having bad gigs or whatever, like, but I said it to him, I goes, but you know what it is to get panned out. Now, you've had like 27 wins and you've like 4 losses or something like that, but like, you know what it's like to get... So is that not crossing your mind? He's like, no, it's just, you know, different. But as he said, like, he goes, Tom, we have our opponent fucking measured to a T. Yeah. I know the length of his arm. I've had a guy's his exact same size and bigger for 6 weeks in camp beforehand, getting prepped for that one moment. So you have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed. Right. So you're very confident. Whereas up here, you're kind of wrangling cats a small bit sometimes. Like, you know what I mean? You get in, you get a fucking hen night all sitting here.
Well, that's the thing.
You know,
I come in here every night. I come in here. You kind of check like who's in. Is there any hen parties in? Is there any stag parties in? Yeah. You know, is there any groups in? You don't have to worry about them people.
No.
You don't have to worry about them people. There could be just like one stray dude in any comedy show who's just that bit drunk and mouthy, and you never see them coming.
Yeah.
You know? If it's a hen party or a stag party, you know, if they're a little bit chatty or they want to have a bit of crack with you, that's kind of expected. But, like, you just get blindsided by these people out of fucking nowhere.
It was the last night I was here. It was the Saturday night of the last night I was here, and it was you were here.
I called in, yes.
You called in, and it was... just one fella, you wouldn't have remembered it, but it was a guy just over to our stage right, and it was going lovely, and just some guy just took completely out of sync with the room, was like, yeah, fun, you know, nothing in...
Just nothing, just mouth.
And whatever way, like your brain is absolutely chugging along at 8,000 reps beautifully, like, and it was just mid sentence I just went, shut up, Dad. Back into it.
Back into it.
Little laugh.
That was all the time.
And then I see one of the monstrous bouncers just standing beside him and just putting their hand on his shoulder, asking him to be quiet.
Yeah.
And he did. He was silent for the rest of the night. You know what I mean? He just had a brain explosion. Like. But it's only years of doing stand-up where you don't, that doesn't catch you.
It's
you know what I mean? It's and that's not bigging anybody up or whatever. Like, but you have to have that in the reserve tank to go. What? You have that? What?
And you reached that. I fell apart. It wasn't here, thank God. I fell apart. It wasn't here, thank God. It was in another comedy club, and I was in full flow, and I was telling my stories, and this guy just fucking mouths up out of nowhere.
Right.
And I came back at him.
You went too hard, did you?
Really hard. Tom.
Yeah.
Like,
done that.
It wasn't. He just caught me at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And I was, the way I would get up and I'd tell stories, and I could go for build to a punchline for 5 minutes. I'm not a one-liner guy. Neither are you.
No.
You have a story and it's point to it, and I was just getting to the end of it, and we were going to be in a nice place. This motherfucker mouths up some old bullshit, right? And I had 10 minutes left on the clock.
You prick.
And I spent those 10 minutes just fucking him out of it. I really did, and not even in a funny way.
Yeah.
Not even a wow. In a YouTube clip that was like, wow, stand-up comedian absolutely destroys heckler. It was grim. Nobody was laughing. And I was just fucking him out of it. He caught me on an absolute pisser of a day. And
something similar happened to me in Waterford.
And that's a bad day at the office.
Yeah.
That's a bad day at the office.
But it's rare. The second
question, it is
the
rare.
second question people ask me immediately after,
thankfully rare,
is how do you deal with hecklers? It's like, how do you deal with car crashes? They do happen.
Yeah.
But not very rarely. Hence why you still go out and drive during the day. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if they happened every single time you went out, you'd never drive.
Yeah, how do you deal with a vomiting bug?
Yeah. It comes and goes. Like,
comes and goes.
Grand.
It's
grand.
That's what it is.
And you just have to slap down the situation, because as soon as they get a foothold at all, because that's how I treat stand-up, is almost kind of like it's a bit of a spar.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I fucking went off with this guy about. Like, and I was telling him, does anything of what I'm doing up here strike you as being fucking easy, pal?
Yeah.
Does this strike you as the kind of thing you could fucking do? Because I promise you couldn't. On your best day, you couldn't do what I do up here.
Yeah.
All you can do is fucking sit in the darkness and shout up bullshit. Like, I really went off it. None of it was funny.
I snapped at an old woman, actually.
She probably earned it.
No, she was. I'd say old, but she looked older than she actually was, because she was steaming, and it was in a comedy club here in town, a small comedy club, midweek, where there was a large lineup of comedians queue up.
Gotcha, Tom.
Yeah, and this old fucking hag kept on giving everybody shit, and there was a gang from Yorkshire, and they were giving people shit a bit, and I went up to put manners on them, because I said she'll quieten down, put manners on them. Basically, shut the fuck up, lads, or I'll come off this fucking stage and make you eat the fucking mic stand. And Grant, okay, you're boss. I explained this is the fucking scenario. Young comedians coming up here, give them a fucking break, right? They were cool. All right, fair enough. The other one kept on fucking at everybody, like. And I went up and I said, I swear to fuck.
Yeah.
I actually will slap you. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. And she piped up and she was like, I could do it. I could fucking do it. Because I was saying, I gave the same spiel about these young comedians down the back giving it a fucking go. Well, I could fucking give it a go. And a couple of the Yorkshire lads piped up then. Go on, let her up for 2 minutes. And she actually got up, right? She got up. I went, sit the fuck back down. And I broke the mic stand and everything. I was like, do you know what it fucking takes to even get on a bill? To get on a fucking bill, and you think I'm going to give this old cunt who happens to be sitting in the audience a fucking crack? On top of she being given, it's not like she's been charming all night.
No,
she's been horrible to everybody.
No,
and she actually hit me a crack.
Fuck her.
Yeah, and I never have, but she's the closest that ever got a female getting dropped, and I was almost going to do it in public on a stage.
She's like, just why do we put ourselves in situations like this, Tom?
Well, look, that was the fucking vomiting boat.
That's what it was. I mean, that dude that was fucking giving out to me, he had every right come the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
To get up and rush the stage and say, listen, prick, that's enough of that shit. Because I was going hard on this guy, right?
Right.
That's enough of that. Scuffle breaks out on stage. Not what anybody wants, I'm like, couldn't stop myself, you know.
Yeah.
Because I looked at the watch and I could see that I was down to about 5 minutes left, and I don't have a story that was 5 minutes long. That would satisfactorily wrap it up. There's no chance of getting these people back, so this is the only thing I can do for the rest of these 5 minutes is tell you how much of a conch you know.
I know we hadn't intended on telling any worst gig ever stories, but
it wasn't even a worst gig ever, because those used to be fun stories. This is just like, you know. And I was coming out of it.
This is a cautionary tale for anybody thinking about. Like, I talked with Pat McDonald about this, and he was talking about, you know, how everybody's looking for a chance to do stand up, and you all deserve to do stand. And he was saying, and we talked about those murderous nights, like, and you're going, you know why you wouldn't do this? Like, why would you want to put yourself through this? Like, you know what I mean? Unless there's some level of you know, sadist in you.
Do you know what it is, Tom?
Have you pinpointed it?
I think I have. Do you know what it is? It's delusion. It's even the best of us, right? It's absolute pure delusion.
Yeah.
That you just had the right amount of delusion to tell yourself that you could do this.
Yes. Yeah. And we're before millennials.
And that delusion stayed with you. Stayed with you as you went online and found somebody that would let you do this.
Yeah.
Contacted them. Asked, could you do it? And all in your mind, you're saying, I got this. Yeah, I can do this.
Yeah.
And people that have gone on to still be doing it 10 years later, like yourself or myself, are still doing it 20, 30 years later. And people that have never got past the first or second night.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't for them and they couldn't do it or whatever like that. We all started with the same spark in our mind.
Yeah.
That is, I think, a perfect blend of delusion, arrogance.
Yeah.
Delusion and arrogance that just turned around and said, do you know what? I can do this. I can get up in front of a crowd of people and tell stories that will make them laugh. And nobody would tell you otherwise.
No.
Like, nobody could turn around and go like, come here, Tom, are you sure now? Because I know we laugh at you down the pub, but...
No, to be fair, a couple of my friends came to the first ever gig, and it wasn't that they were worried about me not being funny. It was just they were stressed out.
They were super stressed out. Anybody you bring to a gig is super stressed out.
Why are you doing this to us?
My wife hasn't been to a gig in about 6 years.
Get stressed out. I'll tell you.
I wouldn't put her through it.
The only times Natasha's come to a gig in the last 3 or 4 years have been horrendous gigs. And she laughs at it, she jokes about it now going, you're no good at all. You told me you had a cracking gig there. You died in your hole, didn't you? She's been to 3 shocking gigs.
You can't bring someone to a good gig. Doesn't work that way.
No.
You can't say, come to this gig, it's going to be good.
No. Like,
come to this gig and take your fucking chances.
It's never worked out that she has had the time to come into the Laughter Lounge even. And you always have a good gig in here. Like, you know what I mean? So I said, the next night I'm in here, you have to come in.
Yeah.
And thankfully I was able to prove it. Oshin from here sent me the video of it last time. And it arrived this morning. And I show it. I said, no, just say. She's like, that's all fucking double after quit. And that's why I married her. Yeah.
That's it. I mean, like, and anybody that says to me, like, you know, oh, I could never try it, then you never could.
Yeah. You know, you're spot on. Stay the fuck away from it, like, because it'll just eat your soul if you don't. Oh, Christ Almighty! Your first 5 gigs, if you can't get a laugh or something.
Yeah. And like it's and anybody that has said to me, God, I'd love to give that a go. Fucking do it. You could do it. You could do it before this week is out.
Yeah.
And it's Tuesday. You could do this before Friday evening. Mm-hmm. You get the right person to put you on.
And that's why, like, the amount of people I have on this afterwards, they go, I'm thinking about doing a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm like, do it. And a couple have like Louis McGee from Damon Ivor, who's frantically into his gaming.
Yeah.
I said, you're missing a trick not doing it, because when he explained to me through the episode how he's not alone, like, or anything, as a 30-odd-year-old man, to be, like, he goes to sleep only with the sound, and he's like, man has a wife and child, or partner and child, and the only way he can go to sleep at night is the sound of some particular computer game playing in the background. Yeah.
That's got it bad.
Yeah. Oh, he's got it bad. Like, but I said, if you have it that bad, maybe. And I actually put him under pressure to do it. I kept on messaging him going, where's your fucking gaming podcast? Like, because the more podcasts, the better. You know what I mean? Because it gets people onto podcasts, like, which I'm a firm believer in. The more comedy clubs, the better, because it gets more people thinking and talking about comedy clubs. But he's one of the few that actually did, but a good few people have gone, I'm thinking about it. I'm like,
fucking do it. Do it into your phone.
Do it into your phone. Do it into your phone and see when you start losing interest. Yeah, that's
That's
when
it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
again, it's I'm thinking of doing a podcast means that you've just got that little bit. I wouldn't even call it confidence, Tom. It wasn't confidence to put me on the stage for the first time.
No.
It was arrogance and just sort of.
It's a touch of madness.
It's a touch of madness.
It's a touch of fucking madness that makes you. Might rename the podcast that actually. Touch of madness. So, Gerry McBride. Tom and Gerry will return.
Yeah. Intrepid Heroes shall return.
Do you have any? Do you know what? Plug your. Well, your Twitter doesn't need any plugging. Holy shit!
Plug it there.
Plug it. Plug
Yeah,
it.
get me there at Gerry McBride. Gerry with a G. I'm on Instagram. Don't use it all that much, but you're welcome to.
It's when you start using it, it's a lot of fun.
You'd
be very funny at the stories.
I'm words, not pictures. You see.
But yeah, I get. But you'd be very funny.
Yeah.
You'd be very, very funny. I think on Instagram.
And follow Waterford Whispers News on Facebook. Any stories you like, click through to the site. That's what we like. We like it. And appreciate it. And yeah, that's it. I got nothing.
And to wrap up here, because thank you very much to do the Laughter Lounge here on Eden Quay in Dublin City Centre. I don't know who's on this weekend. I know Danny O'Brien's on this one. Paul Marsh, of course, is on. Resident. Damo Clark is on. Do you know who else is on? My head. But hey, listen.
So there's something in my mind telling me Kevin Gildy, but I don't think that's right.
No, I don't. No, I'm not entirely sure, but it's very easy to find out. Just go to thelaughterlounge.com. You'll find all you need there, and you can't really go wrong here. It's always a cracking fucking night. Thursdays through to Saturdays. They look after you here. They have drinks, promotions, and all if you're in before 7:30. For now, I've been Tom O'Mahony.
Mention Tom O'Mahony podcast to get absolutely nothing at the door.
Gerry McBride, thank you very much, brother.
Take care, Tom. Good luck.
Look.